Hey there guys, welcome back for another episode of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine review. And this week we are looking at issue 15. Now, I know we are a little bit behind the times. This one is probably over a month old now. I am trying to catch up guys, but you know, personal life, it does take precedence over the videos. But hopefully this year I'll be able to straighten things out a little bit and get a bit of a catch up going on. Anyway, hopefully with this issue you guys managed to pick up a couple of copies. They are the FLAYED ones. Now these guys usually run good in units of 10. I've already got 5 of them from the battle box that came out for Christmas, the Necron battle box. And so obviously I'll be adding these 5 to them as well. I will say they are horribly fiddly. See if we can get a light on that one. There we go. They are horribly fiddly to put together. Super spindly. The legs, they don't really have any great markings on them that sort of slot into position and want to stay there. Trying to get them in the right position isn't great. What I would recommend doing is attaching the legs to or one of the legs to the body, place it on the base, you know, get it all glued down, glue it to the base, and then glue and position your other leg. That way you can get the angle right. If you do it with a small blob of super glue on the bottom of one foot, usually you can, with a craft knife, get just under the foot and sort of pry it, and the super glue will break. Super glue isn't super great at holding plastic down to plastic, especially if you get cheap stuff, but it will make aligning the feet up a bit easier. But do obviously make sure that you get them aligned before gluing anything and making it permanent. So yeah, we get 5 of these dudes with this. These are the only 5 that we get with the collection. So hopefully you guys were lucky enough to grab another issue. I know that they sold out very quick. Obviously these are £32.50 worth of models, if my price is right at the time of saying this, for £9. You know, it is a bumper value, which a lot of the Necron issues tend to be. We're getting a lot of good units for only £9. So yeah, also we get 5 bases. Now I'm not overly happy with these bases. These are the 28mm or 32mm, whatever the smaller bases are. I actually prefer the slightly bigger ones, the ones that we get for the warriors. I don't know why we're using the smaller ones still for pretty much anything. I find that their feet sit too close to the edges and they just don't look as nice. I do like the slightly larger bases, but it is what it is. Alright, so moving into the issue, we have the flayed ones, the cursed flesh eaters. Flayed ones are monstrous Necrons afflicted by a mysterious curse that compels them to attempt to devour the flesh of the living and take their skin and bones as trophies. So with the lore of the Flayed ones, as far as I know it, there is a curse, or it's believed it's a curse, from a Necron who was killed, I believe. And anyway, he had some sort of, he said that the Necrons that fall to his curse will crave flesh. I think he did the same, he craved flesh. And so Necrons, they think that they are mortal, or kind of think they're mortal and that they can eat. They can't eat flesh, they just basically slash the bodies up, shove it into their faces thinking they're eating it, and then they attach it to themselves. Basically they kind of want to be mortal again, and so they try to dress themselves in skin to make themselves mortal. And then that obviously, with it being a curse, the flayed ones, it does spread throughout the Necrons. There is a book out recently. I will put the title of it down in the description. I can't remember it right off the top of my head now. Part 2 comes out this year. Part 1 does actually go into a little bit of description with the Flayed One curse. It is a very good one. So yeah, if you want to know a little bit more about that, I highly recommend picking up that book. I know it's something of the King or something like that. I'll put a comment down or a thing down in this description, and you guys can look that book up and check it out. I had it on audiobook with Audible. No promo here, this is just me saying. And yeah, it's a great book, especially it goes a lot more into the Necron, really gets you into the mind of a Necron, and sort of makes them more human. You know, puts that mortal in the machine. Great book, check it out. Anyway, moving on. So we've got a battle record as always. So this is for the Flayed Ones. And then we've got the Imperium Sanctus. This region of Imperium has survived the opening of the Great Rift largely intact. Here, the Astronomicon still shines brightly in his Age of Nightmares. In this Age of Nightmares, however, no part of the galaxy is safe. So, as we've mentioned before, the galaxy has been torn in two by the Great Rift. The Imperium Sanctus is the bottom half, which is where Holy Terror, or Earth, and Mars are, Macragge, and Gilliman's domain is, and you know, a good amount of the Imperium is down there. Travel through the warp is okay because they have the light of the Astronomicon, so they can still travel. So yeah, they're not doing too bad, although they are under attack from Chaos. I believe Abaddon is still trying to do whatever it is that he's doing, and there's a big thing going on with the Death Guard at the moment, and Mortarion. But yeah, generally safer down in this area. So here we have the Sol system, which is our system. Holy Terror, centre of the Emperor's power and seat of his golden throne. And Mars, the greatest of the Forge worlds, and home to the Adeptus Mechanicus. Which, at the time of you guys seeing this, we're only about a week or two off before we actually start getting our first Adeptus Mechanicus. And I'll be painting up those guys in the colours of Mars. I don't collect them, so as for giving them a colour scheme, I'm going to stick with the generic stuff for those guys and the Solaritas, or Sisters of Battle. And we've got for forces, so we've got Space Marines Chapter Command. Though Space Marine chapters are highly efficient fighting machines, they must contend with grueling attrition and numberless foes. To succeed, each chapter requires brilliant leaders with sharp minds who live and breathe the arts of war and logistics. So here we have Marneus Calgar and his guard. I do believe we are getting two of his guard and Marneus himself, although that will probably be a little bit later in the collection. I have a feeling we're going to go through quite a bit of the Adeptus Mechanicus and then maybe get him and then start adding the sisters to it and the rest of the Ultra or Space Marines. And we have a little bit here on Chapter Masters and the Honor Guard. Then we have the How to Build the Flayed Ones. Read through this, guys. As I said, it is a little bit tricky when it comes to assembling these guys. Another thing I would say to watch out for, they are not push fit. You do have to glue them. Unfortunately, with the way some of these models are posed, their arms tend to get right in underneath their bodies, especially this guy, and it can make painting a little bit difficult. Another thing to note, is they have these long fingers. I was lucky and I only snapped one, and I say that was lucky because I've known a few people to have snapped a few of them. Be super careful when clipping them and cleaning them up, and I actually snapped mine dry brushing it, which you will be able to see in the video up in the corner there, of me painting that guy. And yeah, I snapped one of his claws off. It can glue back on, not a problem. Luckily it was a clean break and glues back on nicely. Otherwise, if you happen to snap it off and can't find the piece, then just attach a spare head or something that he's gone and got stuck on his claw. Then we have the how to paint. Again, this is showing how to paint them for the Saracen dynasty. So they get that nice bronzy colour and the black skeleton. If you want to see how I paint them, then do check out the card there. And then we have the playthrough. Now at this point I am recording and I am still doing the odd playthrough. Hopefully you guys are enjoying them and hitting those like buttons. But yeah, so we've got the destroy the plasma site. From the looks of this, it is 6. Okay, so it's 6 assault intercessors and 2 units of 3, 5 flayed ones but they are not set up on the map, and a plasma site. So the flayed ones, they actually get dimensional translocation. Obviously, if I'm doing this in the playthrough, I'll go through all this as well anyway at the beginning of the playthrough. But yeah, they get to come on as reinforcements. And then yeah, so we're using the flayed ones and the plasma site. And we are using our container. We got the container a few issues back with the crates and barrels. So obviously it says to set them up just like so. We place a container here and the barrels and crates like this. And then we have 3 and 4, 5 and 6 is where you will be setting up the container. So you'll roll the dice, and then depending on what you roll, you'll set up the container on one of these 3 spots. Now obviously this is going to be mainly melee focused because of the flayed ones, and that's a lot of dice. Like I said, they are good in units of 5, even better if you run them in units of 10. They just sort of swamp over everything. And then there is the end. So that is the end of the issue, guys, for this one. Prices up on your screen now of savings and such. So next week we'll be taking a look at issue 16, where we get 5 more assault intercessors. So we get the remaining 5, giving us a total of 13. We get updated rules reference and rules for large units. And the following week we get our second container and crate set. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I do apologise for being a little bit behind on releasing. As I said, life is kind of getting in the way at the minute. Hopefully 2022 will be better and I can get the content that I really want to get pushing out, that I can get into gear and get it out to you guys. If there is any specific ideas of content that you would like to see, let me know down in the comments. Check the corner for the painting video, and if I'm doing the playthroughs, there'll be a playthrough there as well. Do check those out, guys, and give them a thumbs up on that. But for this video, if you've enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up button. If you would like to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and if you have recently subscribed, a huge warm welcome to you. Welcome to the inner circle, and thank you for your support. But until next time, guys, take it easy, keep painting those minis.